AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from downtown Baton Rouge.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Oh, by the way, it's hump day.
It's hump day.
Muse's favorite song in the world.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Todd Peterson. Oh!
Ted Peterson. I had to get the right one there. I do like this song.
Oh! Garrett Nussmeier going to play on Saturday.
It's hump day.
Brian Kelly said so.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Is it worth the risk?
Hump day.
Find out after the break.
It's hump day.
Not really. Just coming up here in just a quick second. We'll do that.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Steve Wiltfong in 12 minutes.
Hump day.
Could the Tigers flip a quarterback for 2026?
It's hump day.
Find out after the break.
Mike. What day is it,
That
Mike?
actually will come up after the break.
Hump day.
Jabbar Juluke suspended 3 games.
It's hump day.
I am going to absolutely eviscerate everything Florida and the Southeastern Conference in 27 minutes.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
We got Taylor Calandra.
Hump day.
We got Michael Bumpkus talking Seahawks.
It's hump day.
I said Bumpkus. I mean Bumpus. I said Bumpkus. I know. Sorry. Bumpus. I go Bumpus.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Sam Acho next hour.
Hump day.
Russ Mitchell.
It's hump day.
Ton to do. Glad you're here. All right. Let us begin, as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Tigers getting ready to take on Southeastern this weekend in Tiger Stadium. Tigers will look to go to 4-0. Brian Kelly was on the SEC coaches teleconference on Wednesday, and he was asked the question. I think many people, including the gentleman who sits in this chair before me, Hunt Palmer, who wrote about it at LouisianaSports.net, said, no way, no how. Shouldn't play Garrett Nussmeier this weekend. If he's dealing with anything, give him a week off. Basically, I could play quarterback for LSU against Southeastern and win that football game. I don't know that that's necessarily true. Maybe so. But anyway, Brian Kelly was asked point blank on Wednesday, SEC coaches teleconference, will Garrett Nussmeier play against Southeastern?
Yeah, I think he needs to play, and Garrett wants to play. He's capable of playing. As I said, the torso injury slowed him up, and it slowed up, in some instances, the development of the offense, too, because we needed to be very careful with him. And we knew we had 2, in particular, very, very difficult games with Clemson on the road and a charged-up Florida team. So, we dialed back practice. We dialed back what we were doing to make sure that we protected him. But he's now on the other side of it because we were able to do that. And so this week is an opportunity for him. He's doing some things in practice he hasn't done in the last month. So we're pretty excited about what he could do this weekend.
Okay. It's interesting as you start to piece together the puzzle and you look at the timeline. I shared with you my notes from fall camp. It was August the 15th. It was a Friday when media got to watch practice. Garrett Nussmeier was not thrown. Brian Kelly said load management. We now know why. The next day, he went full go at scrimmage. The following Saturday, 8/23, August 23rd, Garrett Nussmeier, media was present, did not throw. We now know why. So they were bringing him along slowly. They were letting him heal and then letting him play in the weekend. Letting him heal, not doing much in practice. As you heard Brian Kelly say, he's doing stuff in practice this week he hadn't done in a month. So that slowed the development of the offense. And listen, Garrett Nussmeier and Aaron Anderson have a great rapport. Garrett Nussmeier and Xavier Thomas, great rapport. Garrett Nussmeier and Barian Brown, Nick Anderson, obviously Bauer Sharp, different parts of the offense are new. And, of course, 5 new offensive linemen. So maybe there's something to that. And Brian Kelly just acknowledged. He just acknowledged they knew they had 2 tough games against Clemson and Florida. They had to be a little more deliberate, defense, special teams, control the clock, be a little more careful in those games. Now you got those behind you. You've got a healthier Garrett Nussmeier, and now you go into this weekend. It's also worth noting, on Monday, Brian Kelly was asked point blank, does this Garrett Nussmeier injury limit what you are able to do on Saturdays? Meaning, are you not able to stretch the field because of this injury?
No, but we don't, you're not working on it as much in practice. So, when you get your shots, you want to be able to take them, but we're not doing it a lot in practice. We're starting to pick up that pace. We started a little bit last week. We'll continue to pick it up more this week.
Here's what I would say. If Garrett Nussmeier is in any way limited, he does not need to play against Southeastern. I just don't believe that's the case. We've now seen him play in 3 games. Kelly is telling you he's doing stuff now that he hasn't been doing prior. This week, he's doing stuff he hasn't done in a month. They've been very measured with him. It feels like the worst part of it was probably in fall camp as they were building toward the Clemson game. We've seen Garrett Nussmeier be very efficient so far. And the other part of it is the same conversation we had about Whit Weeks. The thing that is just disgusting about that targeting penalty and the ejection is you go through fall camp, you go through spring ball, you go through all the offseason workouts, you go through a game week of practice, you prep for these 12 games that you get, hopefully 13, 14, 15, 16, but for the 12 games you get, and you have a finite number of those, especially in college, because it's not like the NFL where you can play for as long as someone's willing to let you play. You got 5 years to play for. And in Whit Weeks' case, is probably his last year. So a game was taken away from him. Garrett Nussmeier, you only have a finite amount of times to compete. It's his last season in Baton Rouge. He wants to go play this weekend. He's able. Let him go play. I mean, I know I'm the guy last week who sat here and stumped for Braylon Moore to take the week off because I think Braylon Moore is so critical to your success, big picture this season, that if he's in any way compromised with a high ankle sprain, get him right because I think you were going to beat Florida either way. Now, he ran out there and played. So I would say the same. If there were a chance that Garrett Nussmeier could set himself back this weekend, then I would not think the risk is worth it. But if Brian Kelly's telling you Garrett Nussmeier is now doing things he hasn't done in a month, he's closer to 100%. The time to sat him would have been like Louisiana Tech, not this week. So I'm good with him playing. But the other thing I'll say is this. The excuses are gone. And I'll continue to repeat this, but these next 2 games, Southeastern, Ole Miss, you have an awesome opportunity. Listen, Southeastern's a pretty good defense, but they're an FCS team. They lost 24-0 to Louisiana Tech, but they had 3 sacks and 8 TFLs against Tech. So it's a home game. You got better athletes. It shouldn't matter who Southeastern has or where they line up. You are better, and if you want to go score 100, you should be able to score 100, and you need to go do that this weekend. If we come back here on Monday and LSU's unable to run the ball and they can't stretch the field, it's the same stuff, then it's like start to panic. And then you're going to go to Ole Miss a week from Saturday and play a team that just gave up 500 yards to Arkansas. That's not a good defense. You should be able to move the ball and be explosive. And if you can't, then you go into your open date doing some soul searching for the second half of the season because you have your all SEC games until Western Kentucky, and that's going to be the stretch that determines what you're playing for at the end of November. And you got to be good. So these 2 weeks, after these 2 weeks, the excuses of Nuss or play your defense and the torso injury and you play really good teams and you wanted to make sure that you just didn't affect your team negatively with bad decisions, that's all out the window after these next 2 weekends. So we'll see if the Tigers can get going. The other thing Brian Kelly did say on Wednesday that I thought was so interesting was, this is number 2, Muse, if we could, he talked about the progression, the expectation of progression of an offense throughout the season.
It has started a little bit slower than we had wanted, but internally, very bullish on where we can be. And I want to be better in November. If we're better in November than we are in September, offensively with the kind of defense that we can play and we know that we will play. It's going to be a really good football team.
Teams are allowed to improve. Teams are allowed to improve. We had that same conversation all throughout this baseball season. I know that feels like a distant memory to some, but if we roll back the tape to February, March, how many of y'all were bitching about the bullpen? The inability to develop a third starter. Y'all know who you are. Y'all know who you are. Even with the lesson learned from 2 years prior, when everybody bitched all season about the inability to throw strikes and bullpen, by the time you get to the end of the season, LSU's winning a national championship. Teams are allowed to improve. It's a marathon. I'm willing to be patient. I'm willing to let this group of 5 offensive linemen who are learning to gel together, I'm willing to give them that opportunity to get better. And let's see how it looks this weekend and next week and as they move forward. Because if they keep improving, then yeah, you have enough explosive talent on offense to be really good. You got a 4,000-yard passer at quarterback. You got explosive playmakers everywhere. Got to put this offensive line together. Keep improving. Let those 5 play as one. Complement an elite defense and special teams unit. Yeah, you should be playing for every goal that you have at the start of the season by the time you get to November. So Nussmeier is going to run out there and play this weekend against Southeastern. I don't mind him playing against Southeastern as long as you're not risking setting him back by letting him go play this weekend. So Tigers will get out there and play Southeastern, and they'll have Garrett Nussmeier under center. All right, it's After Further Review. Show Open every day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the Tigers, and the official beer of the New Orleans Saints. Of course, love telling you about Mockler Beverage. Great local partners in our community for 4 decades. It's rare that you go to a church fair, to an event, a fundraiser, anything, without seeing the Bud products. That's because Mockler has been a great supporter of our communities. Of course, a great supporter of the Tigers and of the Saints. Bud Light, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, the official beer of the New Orleans Saints. So tailgate, home gate, game watch, bar, restaurant. Make sure you got plenty of delicious, ice cold Bud Light. All right, it's After Further Review. Y'all will not got a break. Quarterbacks for the future are the talk. Will LSU be able to flip South Carolina commit Landon Duckworth? What about the commitment from Peyton Houston? What does that mean for Elijah Haven and Colton Nussmeier? We'll talk about all that with Steve Wiltfong from Rivals next here on AFR.
After Further Review.
Had a great conversation earlier today with Derek Duplessis. He was up in our building filming some commercials, and we got to talking about this new feature. If you go to the website, duplessisbuilders.net, 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 there's a tab at the top that says Pick Your Pool. Hit that tab, and you can actually customize your pool online. You can even buy it online. I mean, you buy a car online, you could buy a pool online. Same thing. So you can go through as low as $46,000. I mean, listen, they do custom pools for as gorgeous and palatial as you want, but you can get a pool starting at $46,000. And you can see all the features right there. Do you want dirt removal? You pick the coping, the tiling, all the different features. Do you want a water wall? You select all these things right there on the website. And listen, if you want to have a consultation, you want to talk to someone at Duplessis, awesome. You can still set that up. It's duplessisbuilders.net. They got a pool for any budget. duplessisbuilders.net.
After Further Review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Tigers started off the week with a big recruiting win Monday. Peyton Houston out of Evangel for the class of 2027 picked LSU over Oklahoma, Southern Cal, and others. Shay's sick this week, so lucky, man. We call out the big gun. Steve Wiltfong, good enough to join us here. He's from On 3 and Rivals, their VP, and now the National Director of Recruiting and Transfer Portal. Steve, we appreciate the time, man. How are you?
Doing well, man. Didn't realize the big shoes I was filling coming on your show today.
I tell you, man, like Shay's great to us. He comes on weekly, kind of gives us the recruiting deets. Said he was battling a little flu. I said, you know what? It's been a minute since we've talked to Wiltfong. Let's see if we can run him down. What are we to do it, Steve? I mean, LSU lands Peyton Houston, and there's various times, as you know, that it was thought, man, he was going to be Southern Cal, he was going to be Oklahoma. How did LSU pull this off?
Well, I think LSU really turned up the intensity for Peyton Houston back in January, got him back to campus a few times, had a great spring visit where he got to see a day in the life of an LSU quarterback, which included the virtual reality things that LSU has in the facility to help prepare LSU quarterback for game day, getting around the coaching staff again, Brian Kelly, Joe Sloan, understanding the history and tradition and magnitude of playing quarterback at LSU, the chance to win the Heisman Trophy, the chance to be under center for one of the best offenses in the country, to play for a program with so much history. And then coming back this past weekend for a game day visit, seeing Death Valley again, getting the feel for how important it is to play quarterback and play for a program of this magnitude, getting a chance to stay closer to home, be closer to family. LSU was able to check all the boxes and beat Oklahoma, beat USC for the coveted quarterback in the 2027 cycle.
Steve, the big question that people have around here, because we're in Baton Rouge, where I sit right now. We're probably 10 or 15 minutes from the Dunham School. Elijah Haven's been in our studio. People see, the number one quarterback in the country for 27 is in Baton Rouge. Everyone's excited about Houston, but does that compromise your ability to get Elijah Haven? What can you tell us about where Haven's recruitment currently stands?
Well, LSU would like to sign more than one quarterback in 2027 class. Will that be Nussmeier from Texas, the younger brother of Garrett Nussmeier, LSU starting quarterback? Could it be Elijah Haven? Yeah, I think LSU's on the gas right now for Nussmeier. And so we'll see how this cycle continues to go. But for Haven, obviously, he's got some great opportunities as well. Florida's a program that was trending coming into the season. Things have picked up with Penn State and Auburn. Alabama's always been a major contender. All I know is that LSU went out there and got Peyton Houston. That was one of the guys they really wanted. Nussmeier's someone that has been high on the board for a long time. And I think with Haven, it's still a process that's developing as far as LSU is concerned.
What can you tell us, Steve, about Colton Nussmeier, considering we've gotten to see Garrett in Baton Rouge for the last 5 years, and there's sibling legacy recruits happen, and we see it right now with the Weeks brothers. I mean, there's been the Jeffersons and a lot of different, throughout the – I mean, I got to ask Steve whenever, Leonard Fournette signed, like, man, does he like his brother? No, he's not. Like, his brother is the greatest talented running back who's ever been here. But what can you tell us about Colton Nussmeier?
Well, Colton's a guy that had a solid sophomore season, completing close to 60% of his passes for nearly 2,000 yards and 16 touchdowns. I think he's already shown some improvement as a junior, completing 75% of his throws through 2 games, also being more of a dual threat, rushing for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. That already surpasses what he did with his legs as a sophomore. Obviously, terrific pedigree in that family. Their father, Doug, played in the NFL out of Idaho. And I think Garrett has already shown that at LSU, what he can do with all the intangibles in addition to the tangibles. And I think Colton, you're excited about the same thing. He's looking at a bunch of SEC schools. LSU, again, is a school that we've liked in that recruitment, but Alabama, Florida, Georgia are 3 others that are very prominent.
You also mentioned, Steve, LSU want to take 2 quarterbacks in one class, which is, I know, something we've talked about a good bit with Shea here as well when we talked to him. But I really wonder if the days of getting 2 elite prospects at quarterback to commit in the same class are a thing of the past. How realistic is that?
Well, it certainly doesn't happen very often. Alabama's got 2 rivals 300 quarterbacks committed this cycle. Jet Tamala from Iowa, and then Taden Kawa, Hawaii, who's playing in Utah. So those are guys that also weren't really considered household national recruiting names, even though they're ranked high. I think with LSU, these 3 guys that they're in on are guys that were heavily recruited by other programs. So I think LSU will look to the transfer portal after this season and also see who they can get to help compete with Michael Van Buren and players like that moving forward. And then we'll see who they're able to add to Peyton Houston in 2027. I just know that Peyton Houston was one of their top targets, if not the top target at the position. They have him committed. Nussmeier is someone that always had a committable offer as well, and we go from there.
I'm glad you mentioned 2026 because a week ago, Landon Duckworth was on LSU's campus. I think by now everybody knows he's a South Carolina commit, and ever since the Bryce Underwood flip, LSU's been struggling to catch up with numbers. How realistic of an opportunity does LSU have to maybe flip Duckworth from South Carolina to LSU before signing day?
Well, the recent intel on Duckworth has been that he is solid to South Carolina and not going to flip. Now, we'll see what happens as the season continues. Obviously, he took a visit to LSU. And there was some thought coming out of that he would return for an official visit. We'll see if that comes to fruition. If it does, it certainly shows you how real LSU is in that one. And then I think that they're having dialogue with other 2026 quarterbacks committed elsewhere. It just hasn't gotten to the point of a official visit or a return to Baton Rouge. So we'll see how it goes there. We'll see where they turn in the transfer portal. I know they were excited to land Michael Van Buren out of the portal last year, who obviously started some games at Mississippi State. And so, again, I know I've been saying this, but we'll see how it continues to go.
Do you think the expectation, the portal, I completely agree with you. Do you think the portal expectation for LSU in 2026 is that they're looking for a depth option like A.J. Swan a year ago or even Van Buren this year? Or are they looking for someone like Jaden Daniels who had been a multi-year starter at a Power 4 that can come in and maybe bridge the gap in 2026?
I think if they could find an elite guy that has a chance to be a Heisman Trophy winner and first-round pick, they'd go for him.
Did anybody really think that was the case, though, whenever he came over from Arizona State? I don't think that was the conversation. I'll tell you, Ryan Clark did. I'll give him credit. When Ryan Clark came on our show, he said that's a future Heisman winner. But he might have been the only one at that time.
Well, what I would say to that is that Jaden Daniels was obviously a high-ranked quarterback that showed at Arizona State that he had a lot of promise. I mean, his last season, he had 2 seasons at Arizona State where he threw for over 2,000 yards. So he had a lot of reps and showed a lot of promise and got into the LSU system and had a chance as his first-year starter to show that he was promising, but he exploded in his last year, right? Kind of similar to Joe Burrow, had a good first year at LSU, exploded in his second year. And I think if a terrific prospect came into the portal, LSU would certainly swing there, but they would also, take a depth guy that would come in and just push the room behind Michael Van Buren as well. But I think if you're LSU and you're thinking about your portal options right now, you're hoping it's an elite level guy that just comes in and takes the baton and is the guy for 2 years at least.
He is Steve Wiltfong, National Recruiting and Transfer Portal for Rivals and On3. Good enough to spend a couple of minutes with us here. Steve, we always appreciate it, man. Great to hear from you. We'll talk again soon. Thank you.
Guys, we will talk soon because LSU's in line to sign one of the top classes in the country in 2027, and they're certainly out there trying to flip some guys in 2026, so there'll be a lot to unpack as the season continues. Thanks for having me on.
We look forward to it. That is Steve Wiltfong. You'll get him on Twitter at @SWiltfong_, at @SWiltfong_. We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, doors, siding. Oh, yeah, they do shutters as well. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Love telling you about the service that Relief Windows provides because it's just the thing that sets them apart always. I mean, windows are a commodity. A lot of people can sell you a window, but it's the level of customer service, their commitment to you, the measure techs that come. They measure twice, install once. Every window is custom made for your home. It's going to reduce costly air leaks. It'll make your home more energy efficient. It'll lower your energy bills, increase your resale value. And then there's Google reviews like this one from Rich, who wrote, "The quality of the windows they installed is exceptional and has made a noticeable difference in the comfort and appearance of my home." Another 5-star Google review. It's experience, it's quality, it's service, it's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. ReliefWindows.com. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Thanks for hanging out with us here. I am going to be fascinated to see if LSU can, in fact, land 2 quarterbacks in 2027. And it might be that perfect storm of the legacy with Colton Nussmeier, who wants to be an LSU Tiger, doesn't really care if there's another quarterback in the class. And then the hard press that LSU had to get Pop Houston as a member of this class. So, I mean, I just know a lot changes throughout the course of a year. I mean, you're talking about, here we are in September of 2025. These are guys that are going to sign in December of 2026. So you're talking 15 months from now till they sign. There's just so much that'll happen between now and then. But to have a top 10 quarterback from the state of Louisiana already committed in your class this early is a great thing. It can't be looked at otherwise. Now, how do they finish 2026 will be fascinating. Do they flip Landon Duckworth? Do they go into the portal? Do they do both? Is it a depth guy in the portal? Is it a starter in the portal? That may just depend on circumstance and who's available. But this December high school period, January portal is going to be fascinating to determine the bridge and long-term future of LSU at the quarterback spot. All right, it's after further review. We appreciate Steve Wiltfong. Michael Bumpus will be with us in 30 minutes. He covers the Seattle Seahawks. Take a closer look at the Saints' opponents. Sam Acho of ESPN, he'll be with us in 45 minutes. Russ Mitchell in hour 3. We'll knock out a break, come back. I got to talk about Jabbar Juluke, suspended for 3 games, and I got some thoughts on this. We'll do it next, AFR.
AFR.
If you're a business owner and you are just constantly frustrated by your inability to find the right people in your business, I got great news. I got great news because there's a company right here in Baton Rouge and New Orleans that services not only the state of Louisiana and the Gulf Coast, but the entire country. A company right here that can help. Glow Resources. GLO, glowresources.com. You see, Glow Resources measures themselves on how long the employees they pick stay with your business. And they have a 96% success rate. 96% success rate. And they're so confident in their ability to find the right people for whatever job you have open that if it doesn't work out, they will either give you a prorated refund or find another employee for free. That's how confident they are in their ability to help you find your maximum productivity. GLO, glowresources.com.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Obviously, everyone, when you go into this kind of process, you see the candidate lists and people throwing out names that could make sense for the job. And I'm sure you guys have seen the same thing in terms of people throwing out Michael Vick, who obviously prominent alum, Shane Beamer, who has the ties that he does to the school. I just don't see any scenario right now where either of those ends up being a legitimate possibility to be the next head coach at Virginia Tech.
That's Matt Zenitz says no Shane Beamer. Michael Vick, I think, was probably laughable all the way along, but no Shane Beamer there, which is odd because we did look at the odds. It's odd because we look at the odds. And if you look at the odds that BetOnline put out, John Gruden is the betting favorite at plus 300, followed by Shane Beamer at plus 400. As a matter of fact, on this list, Michael Vick didn't even have odds. So I get that Michael Vick, like, after going on the cheap for Brent Pry and it not working out, and you're getting housed at home by Old Dominion. By the way, why do they schedule Old Dominion? I mean, is that 3 times now they've lost to Old Dominion?
That's 3 times. That one's by far the worst.
Did we talk about it last week? I was like, why are they why do they keep scheduling Old Dominion? That's what I asked Phil.
I was going to say it was one of our picks with Phil, yeah.
Whatever. This isn't a Virginia Tech show. But I think it's interesting because I don't doubt that Matt Zenitz's info is good. Shane Beamer is just the most obvious choice. He's a Power 4 head coach. He's had some success. He's got ties to the university. He's the son of a legend. He would be passionate about it. He's got the second best odds. I don't know that I would hand wave and dismiss that one so quickly, but we'll follow that. Of course, the Gamecocks will be in Baton Rouge here in just a few weeks. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. We are brought to you by Parish Restoration, parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. Kill mold, remove odor. You know how to do it. It's easy. You call Parish Restoration or you go to the website, parishrestoration.com, fill out the form on the homepage. They'll come out. They'll give you an estimate, depending on the square footage and what you need done. It's Parish Restoration. They'll spray their patented non-toxic dry fog. They'll close all the windows and the doors. They'll let the fog settle. It'll dwell. It'll kill all the mold down to the spores, not just mold, but other harmful pathogens, other bacteria, viruses that cause, bacteria that causes odor and different things. Maybe you got pet odor, smoke odor, sweat odor. Knock all that out. It's Parish Restoration. Check them out. By the way, it serves the whole state of Louisiana and the Gulf Coast. So check them out at parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. All right, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The South Carolina Gamecocks.
On Wednesday, Pete Thamel posted an update on Lenoris Sellers, who left last week's game against Vanderbilt with an injury, didn't play the second half. Apparently, there is optimism that Sellers will be ready for the game against Missouri on Saturday. That is in Columbia, Missouri, by the way. Thamel notes that Sellers has been practicing, and there's positive signs for his availability. Shane Beamer, on the SEC media availability, did not give an update on Sellers yet, but there will be an SEC injury report tonight, so we'll have the latest.
Texas A&M!
Apparently, Bryce Anderson, Texas A&M safety, avoided what has been called a, quote, catastrophic injury after a serious collision in Saturday's game against Notre Dame, which is fantastic news. He returned to campus with the team following the game. He's continuing to recover from the incident. It was late in the first half when he collided with Notre Dame tight end Eli Raridan on a 25-yard passing play. Anderson's a senior from Beaumont who's motionless on the field. It took about 10 minutes before they stabilized him, his neck. They carted him off the field. So apparently they do expect Anderson to return at some point this season.
The Oklahoma Sooners.
Not good news for Oklahoma center Troy Everett, who will miss the remainder of the season. The senior captain is done. Season-ending injury before the Week 3 game against Temple. He is out for the year. Same injury, other knee, according to Brent Venables. That cost him time about a year and a half ago. Sooners open SEC play in Norman Saturday against Auburn.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
And Tennessee will be shorthanded at wide receiver against UAB. Josh Heupel confirming Radarius Jackson will be out for the Vols when they host the Blazers on Saturday. Took a hit on his shoulder on a third down catch. It was his only snap on offense against Georgia. 6'2", 210-pounder. One of Tennessee's top backups at receiver, along with Travis Smith Jr. So not a lot of numbers at wide receiver for the Vols, and they're down another one. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. Hump Day Show is brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. Going tomorrow. Got my latest cycle of BPC 157 came in, so I'll be over at Goodwood tomorrow. I'll be doing my blood labs, twice a year blood labs. I'll be there. You know, of course, when you're on hormone therapy, they do, every 6-month blood labs, 4 to 6 months, just to make sure that everything's, looking at your numbers, making sure everything's trending the way it should. So I'll be over there tomorrow. Maybe I'll see you there. Come on in. Yourgoodwood.com. They're on Drusilla. Yourgoodwood.com. Set your consultation. Maybe I'll see you there tomorrow morning. All right, it's after further review. You probably noticed on Tuesday night that the SEC and the University of Florida issued a joint statement, suspending Florida assistant coach Jabbar Juluke for 3 games because of his role in that pregame altercation, on Saturday with the Tigers and the Gators. We've seen a lot of video of it. And now we have video of the moment that caused Juluke's suspension. The report or the release from the SEC included a quote from Juluke where he was apologizing to an LSU student athlete, but they did not say for what he was suspended. Well, now we know. There is video, and this happened live on ABC and ESPN in one of the check-ins, about an hour and 15 minutes before the game. They go check in, the pregame warm-ups and all that. Well, they have a dust-up here, and it's clear as day if you've seen the video where, and if you're watching with us, Juluke is right in the middle here with the black cap and the black shirt, and he's face-to-face with Joel Rogers, who's here with those are actually Our Lady of the Lake headphones that Garrett Nussmeier and Our Lady of the Lake gave to all the LSU players. But they're face-to-face here, and right as this frame starts, you're going to see Jabbar Juluke open hand slaps Joel Rogers right in the face. I mean, just slapped him right in the face. And that's what caused that first fracas. They separated, and then there was another sort of incident in the north end zone later. I'm here to tell you, the University of Florida and the Southeastern Conference are freaking cowards. You're cowards, and you're wrong. In what world, in what reality, is it acceptable for an adult in a position of leadership and authority over young people like a coach, to lay their hands on anyone, let alone another young person. Y'all, it is one thing to read about an incident or hear about an incident, but video changes everything. Ask Ray Rice. I'm not saying this elevates the level of what happened with Ray Rice. But you can read the words domestic violence, but then when you see Ray Rice close fist punch his fiance, knock her unconscious, and drag her out of an elevator, it brought new meaning to all that. It was a picture that no one could forget. Mike Rice at Rutgers abusing his players. When we saw that practice video, he got fired. Take it away from sports. What if it was like what if it's like a car wreck? You can read about a car wreck. But if you're standing or sitting at a red light and you see two cars collide, it's jarring. Like when you see something, it's different. You see Jabbar Juluke, which, by the way, why are you even on the LSU sideline to begin with? And then why are you laying hands on a young person? The University of Florida in the Southeastern Conference, epic failure by only issuing him a 3-game suspension. He should be fired immediately. Let me not mince words. Let nobody be unclear with where I am coming from. Jabbar Juluke should not have even gotten on the bus to the airport. He shouldn't have even coached the game. The second they knew about this, fired immediately. Absolutely absurd. Can you imagine? Take it a different way. For anybody who might be sitting there going, oh, heat of the moment, he made a mistake. Bull crap. A mistake is you turn left instead of right. You thought you had the right directions, you didn't. He made a decision, a conscious choice, and he made a poor one. And all of our actions have consequences. And his should be that he is fired. What if that was your child? Put yourself in that frame of mind. What if you're sitting there in the stands going to watch your son or daughter play a sport? Or you're watching on TV after the fact or on Twitter, and you see somebody, an adult in a position of authority, open hand slap your child, strike your child in the face. Brother, I'm going to tell you what. I get pissed off talking about the New Orleans Saints general manager. What you think I'm going to feel like if I watch something? I dare lay a hand on my child. Lay a finger on my child and see what happens. You know, everyone who's a father, you know exactly where I'm coming from. You know, like, that is your duty in life to provide for and protect your children. And you entrust your children to these adults to lead and guide them. And this man strikes a young person. No. By only giving him a 3-game suspension, you're saying that's okay. Look, Jabbar. You know, you can't do that. Look, take 3 games. Think about your actions. Like, this isn't a player. This isn't another young person who made a foolish decision. This is a 50-year-old man who's been coaching for 30 years. He's popping a kid in the face before the game? Shame on Greg Sankey. Shame on Billy Napier. Shame on Scott Strickland. Shame on everyone in a position of authority who didn't run his ass off the millisecond they heard about this. There is no justification at all whatsoever for this behavior. Jabbar Juluke should have been fired instantly, and I don't give a damn. Any of you who live in New Orleans, who've known Jabbar since the 90s, I don't give a damn. Save it. I'm not saying he's a terrible person. What I'm telling you is he should have cost himself a job. And anyone that would hire him in the future better think long and damn hard about it, because I wouldn't let my kid play for him ever. Slapping a kid in the face before a game. And the adults that let it pass. Unbelievable. Unacceptable. Disgusting and disgraceful in every single way. And anyone who thinks I'm going too hard, how about we do this? How about we take your child, put him on the 50-yard line at Tiger Stadium, let Jabbar Juluke slap them in the face? How'd you feel? I bet you'd be singing a different tune. Disgusting. Absolutely filthy, disgusting, Florida. Billy Napier, Scott Strickland, Greg Sankey, all of you. Disgusting. Because you're giving tacit approval to this. Slapping a kid in the face. You got to be kidding me. Jabbar Juluke. Jack Pyburn's right there. He's lucky Jack Pyburn didn't beat the ever-living hell out of him. Slapping a kid in the face. Gotta be kidding me. I hope everyone listening right now goes onto social media, finds that video, retweets it, shares it, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. Get that thing going viral and put a ton of pressure on these losers these adult losers who apparently don't want to do the right thing and protect the young people who they're hired to serve and protect. What an example. What a role model. What a great display of all the things that you love to see in sports, right? What a great display of sportsmanship, of level-headedness, of competitiveness. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to slap you right in the face. 50-year-old man. Kick rocks, loser. Fire him. Fire his ass right now. Say AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Watermark in the Renaissance. Watermark downtown, Renaissance, Southtown, right there on Bluebonnet. 2 great hotels. Watermark, voted by you the best hotel in the best of 225. Going to celebrate its centennial next month, as we've told you about plenty. Of course, the Renaissance is right there on Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, and that's where the LSU Tigers will be in just a couple of days. That is LSU's home away from home when the Tigers are at home. Every Friday before a home football game, the LSU Tigers stay at Renaissance Baton Rouge. They got plenty of rooms for the whole team and the staff. They've got plenty of office space as well. The 500-person ballroom where they can have team meals and team meetings and prayer services if they want. And then they can have their breakout rooms for position groups as well for all those meetings. It's perfect for that. It's perfect for whatever event you got coming as well. If it's a wedding reception, if it's an awards banquet, if it's a fundraiser, remember Renaissance Baton Rouge right there on Bluebonnet. It's Renaissance Baton Rouge.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. They're the gang with the slang.
Keep it 100. I don't know what you're talking about.
This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
I don't understand.
All right, we got to go quick because I yelled a lot about Jabbar Juluke and totally lost track of time. Taylor, how are you, man?
Good. How are you?
We literally have 3 minutes, and it's my fault, but I went off on Jabbar Juluke, and I went long.
It's terrible, man. You shouldn't be hitting players.
Bro, what if he hit your son? I mean,
I would lose it.
What are we talking about? Like, how in the hell? 3-game suspension? It's just, don't get me started again. I'm very proud of myself, though. I came close to a few F's and S's, and I held them back. So I'm very proud of myself.
Good.
Yeah, not a very
That's
good.
Awesome.
Hey, what's new?
We got a new Knob Creek pick, and the Knob Creek picks are barrel proof now.
Let's
they
go. Okay.
They were. They all used to be 120 proof, and granted, this is less than 120 proof, but now their whole program is barrel proof, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
Because when we tried stuff before, we weren't necessarily trying it at the right proof, and it was a little different usually. So I think that's a cool thing that they've done, and it's $70.
Very cool. Dude, Knob Creek is awesome. I know we talk about it a ton here. You get a Knob Creek store pick. That's awesome.
Knob Creek's my first love. That's where I fell in love with bourbon. I fell in love with bourbon picking a Knob Creek barrel 12 years ago. So
I believe that could happen. Hey, look, Friday, we're going to be doing the show over at Don Juan, partnered with Sagamore Spirit Rye. Do y'all carry Sagamore Spirit? Have you heard of it?
Yeah, we don't have any of their stuff right now, but we have in the past, yeah.
What do you know about it? I know it's a Maryland-based rye. Apparently, East Coast rye is a very the origins is a very common thing. What can you tell us?
Well, especially up in the up there in the Northeast, rye grows in cold climate very well. So up in the Northeast, that's where you're going to get good rye. In Canada too, Canada's got great rye. But they've got a bunch of marks, and they do a bottle and bond. I know for sure. And I've had their stuff; it's good. It didn't really sell at the store for some reason.
Well, we're gonna see if we can change that. I've never tried it, and actually, April Burkholder. You know the gymnast who's now Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, April Burkholder. She lives in Houston, but she's their rep. It's Disaronno. It's their company, and they're trying to push that here. I was like, come on. So we're going to do an event Friday over at Don Juan. We'll do some sampling. I'm really excited to try. I mean, I love rye. So I'm really excited.
What time is the event?
What's AFR is going to be at Don Juan from 3 to 6.
Oh, AFR. Okay.
Yeah, AFR will be at. Yeah, come on, man. AFR will be there at Don Juan from 3 to 6 with Sagamore Spirits. So we'll be doing tastings and craft cocktails and all different kind of stuff. So man, I encourage everybody to come on out, man. It'll be I think it'll be a good day. So I don't know. Hopefully, if y'all can get it, man, that'd be great. I'd love to sample some of it too in the future. Yeah. So, all right, man. Look, I know I ran us up against the clock. We didn't get questions. That's my fault. I'll do better next week. I'm sorry. Man. All right, go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Thank you. That's Taylor. That's Taylor Calandra from Calandras. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. They lit the fuse on the Jabbar Juluke thing, and I went off, and I ran out of time with Taylor. All right, we're heading up to Seattle. Michael Bumpus covers the Seahawks. He's with us. We'll get a little look across the field for the New Orleans Saints when we come back on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. Tell you every day, if you go to the website, that's the best place to start because it used to be. I remember when I got my first car when I was in college. My dad and I went to we spent a Saturday and went to 5 different dealerships. I remember I drove a Camaro, some Infiniti. A little bitty, a G20, a tiny Infiniti. We drove I ended up getting a Nissan Xterra. Anyway, the point is you would go to 5 different dealerships and drive and test drive and haggle. That's just, nobody does that anymore. You go online. So go online, southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. Do it right now. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, you've heard me talk about Volkswagens, you've never considered a Volkswagen, this is the time. They got amazing deals, shop the specials, work out finance, do it all online at southpointvw.com.